Hello again, Donna Gray here, your Stamping Up demonstrator from the Northern Rivers area in New South Wales, Australia. So I hope you liked the zebra card. The zebra card was so much fun to make. So the next thing that I was asked to do, sorry, I just need to get rid of that. Get rid of that. How do I get rid of it? The next thing that I was asked to do was to do a card using the Whale of a Time bundle. So I decided what I wanted to do this time was to do a shaker card, because the Whale of a Time bundle is super, super fun. And I looked at it and I thought, you know what? A shaker card is probably what needs to be on the cards for the Whale of a Time. So yes, I'm back again. So as I said, I will be jumping on. I may not be jumping on as soon, but I had this one already prepared and ready to go. So if you missed the zebra card, here we go, the cute little zany zebra card. If you missed that, jump back on and check out the live that I did a little while ago, and we will get to crafting again now using the Whale of a Time bundle. So just bear with me here. We'll get down onto the desk. Okay, so I have got a mountain of stamps all mounted up here. We've got heaps of cardstock. Oops. I'm going to use this framelit here out of the Free as a Bird stamp set. Now this is the Whale of a Time bundle. So we have the Whale Done stamp set, and we also have the Whale Builder Punch. So it is a super fun set. The designer series paper is honestly gorgeous. So there's so many different designs in the designer series paper. I'll just grab that out and show you. So you have, they're both patterned on both sides. So we've got lots of different patterns. We've got gorgeous whales here. The whale punch actually will punch out that whale. So it will actually, if I can find one that's close, here we go. This one here is close enough. So it will actually punch out the whale out of your designer series paper, as you can see. We have patterns galore on these gorgeous designer series paper. So you can see we've got beautiful patterns. It is a great 6x6 pack of designer series paper. The colors are gorgeous. We have beautiful seams. It's absolutely stunning. So I was thinking, this is like screaming out to me for a shaker card. So what I did was, the beauty of Stampin' Up is that we have, you really like this set, Laurie. We have all of the colors that match on our designer series paper. It tells you what colors go with our designer series paper. So I was looking here, and it actually, and you'll see it on the back on the label, it says Balmy Blue, Blackberry Bliss, Bumblebee, Calypso Coral, Granny Apple Green, Just Jade, Pacific Point, Pool Party, Pretty Peacock, Shaded Spruce, and Whisper White. So I decided to go with a color scheme that it showed. So we're going to make a beautiful card like this. Are you ready for it? A gorgeous shaker card. And that is what we're going to make. So if you've never made a shaker card before, you are going to love this video. All right, so let's get started. I've got so many things in this basket. Now, any orders, once again, as I have said, any orders that get placed during today. Now, this is for Australian people only. I just uploaded my last video to YouTube, and someone said, isn't that expensive for you to pay for shipping to America? I cannot sell to anyone outside of Australia. So if you live in Australia and you purchase through me today, any of the shipping, I will refund it. Now, this is a special just for me. This is not a special that Stampin' Up are hosting. This is something that I want to say thank you to people that order through me today. All right, so I've got Pool Party as my base. So I'm going to fold that over and fold it in half. Now my Pool Party base is cut at 5 3/4 inches this way by 8 inches this way. When we fold it, it folds at 4 inches. And that gives us a card front size of 4 inches by 5 3/4 inches. Now, I've done a few things ahead of time. So I've embossed this layer here. Now, this layer is cut at 3 1/2 inches by 5 1/4 inches. I have used this die out of the Free as a Bird die set. So it's die number 2. So it's not the largest, it's the second largest. I think that's how, yes, it's the second largest out of the Free as a Bird die. So that's all these dies here, and they all layer up. They're stitched on both sides, so you get the gorgeous stitching around the outside as well as the piece that you cut out in the middle. So I die cut that shape out first and then I embossed. Now the reason why I did that, a lot of people emboss their layer, then they decide to die cut their piece out. When they run their piece through the die cutting machine, when it's already been embossed, it flattens out the embossing. So you don't want to do that. So you want to cut out your shape first. Now I've got a piece of the Designer Series paper here, and I'm going to cut that strip down probably to about, I don't know, 3 1/2 inches or so. And that's actually going to go in behind here and create the scene, as you can see here. So I'm going to cut that down first. That'll be the first job that I'm going to do. I might just cut it down to 3 inches. Yeah, 3 inches looks good. Okay. And because of my piece of paper there, I'm going to do 5 1/4 inches. I think should be the right size for this, because it's going to be a little bit smaller. So can you see that? It's going to be a little bit smaller on both sides, but that's going to allow us to layer that one over the top and we won't see it. We actually need to go a little bit smaller than 5 1/4, so probably 5 1/8. Just to make sure that it doesn't poke out behind our embossed layer. Okay, so you're going to see that that's going to fit in there really nicely. All right. Now, I did have a window sheet in there. Did I lose that on the ground? I had a window sheet piece already cut. Let me see. Ah, there it is. Okay, so I have a window sheet piece as well, and I'm sure that's cut at the right size as well. Okay, so my window sheet, now we sell these. The window sheet is cut at 5 1/8 inch by 3 3/8 inch, so that will actually like line up nicely on the back of that embossed layer, if you can see that. Good morning, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so I'm going to use my silicone mat. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this window sheet onto this. So I'm actually going to use my Seal Plus, and I'm going to use my silicone mat, and I'm going to run my Seal Plus along that window sheet, right along the edge. So like that. I'm going to turn it around. I'm going to go right along this edge here. Turn it around right along this edge. The reason why I'm using this silicone sheet is so that I don't get it all over everything. And I went a little bit crooked then because I was looking up at the comments on there. Okay. All right. So we've got our window sheet that has our Seal Plus all over it. So then I'm just going to turn this over and I'm going to glue that onto that embossed layer, the back of the embossed layer. So because I've done it that 1/8 inch smaller, it's just going to fit perfectly in behind. Now, if for any reason that you have a little tiny bit, which I've done that because I've just glued it a little bit crooked on there. I'm just going to run my scissors along there. Okay, so we now have our window sheet in behind that embossed layer. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to line up this piece of designer series paper to see where it's going to line up on with my embossed layer over the top. So my embossed layer over the top is just going to give me a little hint of that border all the way around. So I need that. I want it actually up that way a little bit more because I want to see more of that sandy edge. Yes, that looks really good. All right, so I'm just going to mark that with my pencil and I'm going to glue that in place, ready to go. So I'm just going to mark it top and bottom so that I can see exactly where I need to glue it. You probably can't see that on the video, but, and I'm just going to use my liquid Tombow so I can wiggle this around exactly where I need it to be. So I'm just going to glue that on with my Tombow. So lining up my pencil marks, making sure that I'm at an even spacing from both sides there. And then that's going to line up perfectly, oops, under there. So just like that. So we can get to see some of the sand and the cute little crab. All right. So now what I want to do is I want to decorate that piece of designer series paper that we have in there. So I'm going to take the jellyfish and I'm going to stamp a jellyfish up in the corner there, and I'm going to use my Calypso coral for that one. So I'm just going to stamp it directly down onto that designer series paper, and it's floating around in that corner just there like that. Okay, so we've got a cute little jellyfish there. Then I'm going to take my turtle and I'm going to ink my turtle up with some old olive. And oh, there's my daughter there. So I'm going to ink it up with my old olive, my turtle, and then I'm just going to, with my pretty peacock, I'm just going to add some colouring around those darker edges with a sponge dauber. So just on the fin and just down around that bottom, like so. All right. Whoops. And oh, that was fun. Okay. So if you just see what I've done, I've just put pretty peacock. I'm going to stamp that and then I'll deal with that pretty peacock in there. All right. So I'm just going to, my turtle's going to be swimming down through here. Now, if you ever do that, I just want to show you what you can do. I've now got pretty peacock in my Calypso coral. So I'm now going to show you what you can do to fix that problem. All right, so you can see here where my pretty peacock just landed in it. Just take some paper towels and just blot. And you'll find that it will bring out quite a lot of that color, but you've just got to keep blotting and soaking up some of that ink. And then you can re-ink over the top. So there you go, you're learning something today. So just keep holding it in there. And I'll turn it over a little bit more. Can you see how it's now starting to go a lot lighter where I've been doing that? And then I'll grab my Calypso coral and re-ink it, and it will be all good. So don't ever panic when you do that. Okay. And then I will just grab my Calypso coral and re-ink, and everything will be totally okay. All good. No problem. See? Problem fixed. And then I will just use one of these horrible big bone folders that I don't use very often, and I'll just rub that in. And no pretty peacock in my Calypso coral anymore. So I've taught you a little trick there today by my clumsiness. Yes, you could use acetate merlin instead of a window sheet. Totally, yes. If you've got projector film sheets, I know before I used to buy the acetone sheets, I used to use projector film sheets. Some people even don't mind using, if they've got some of that clear plastic that's in your stamp set. Sometimes people use that, the little insert thing in your stamp set. Okay, so we've got a little seahorse here. There it is, little tiny seahorse. So we're going to do a couple of seahorses in a few different colors. We're going to do a little Calypso coral one, so you'll get to see that my Calypso coral is fixed. And I will close up my ink pads so that I don't end up doing that again. All right, so we're going to do a couple of little seahorses in Calypso coral. So I'm going to put one here, one there, maybe one up here. Okay, and then I'm going to do another seahorse, a couple of seahorses in a different color. Okay, so I've got Blackberry Bliss here as well. I'm going to do a couple of Blackberry Bliss seahorses. One there, another one up there, and I think another one could be swimming around there. Look at that, some gorgeous little seahorses. This set is honestly a really stunning set. I can tell you I've had some super, super awesome fun with this set. Okay, so we've got our window sheet on here. So the next thing what we need to do is, you can see that's going to sit over there really nicely. The next thing we need to do is we need to bring in some of our adhesive foam strips. Now, this is the key to getting your shaker cards to work really well. So I'm now going to go around where that cutout shape is, and I'm going to pop my adhesive sheets around. Now, you can see there, I've just bent and gone around the corner, and it's totally okay to do that with these strips. That's how they work. We're going to butt that one up against that one, making sure that we're not going out over our edge, but trying to stick as close as we can to the edge of our die cut. The reason why we're sticking as close as we can to the edge of the die cut is to use less things in your shaker card, because if you don't do that, you're going to use a lot more sequins or whatever you're using inside your shaker card. So I'm going to butt that one up there again against that one. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to go around the corner here and like that. Okay, we're going to cut that off. Then what we're going to do is I'm then going to pop strips all along the outside of this piece as well. Now, this is how I like to do shaker cards, because it gives you a nice, good, firm base to that layer, and it sits it up really nice on the front of your card. So I'm just going to pop another one along there. Any bits that we have left over, we will fill in here. So there. Oh. There. I was thinking, we have the foam sheets now that are adhesive on both sides, and I was thinking about cutting out my shape with the foam sheet. But as it turned out, the foam sheet was actually smaller than my die, so I couldn't do it. but they're actually a great new additive that we have in our catalogue as well. You found me, Anne-Marie. Was I missing? So this is the second video, Anne-Marie. So if you missed the first one, I've actually uploaded it onto YouTube as well. But if you missed the first one, just go back in the group and you'll find it again. All right. So the next job that I'm going to do here, I'm going to take the Whale of a Time sequins. Now, this is what I find is the success to my shaker cards. I put my sequins onto this layer, so then I can layer my other layer over the top. So all you need to do is pile your sequins in a pile. And because this is a fairly big opening, you're going to need quite a few sequins piled in there. So these are the Whale of a Time sequins. They are absolutely gorgeous. Now, I'm also going to pop some little dots of glue just around the place, because I'm actually going to pop some sequins into that glue. So I'm going to grab my take to pick tool, and I'm just going to pick up some of the sequins and I'm going to drop that in there. This one here can go there. Oh, if it will come off. There. I'm going to put one of these great shells over here. There. Actually, I have to be careful because that might have went out of my perimeter. That one there. And I'm just going to let these dry for a bit before I pop my shaker part on. Okay, so, and I've got another one up there. There. So the reason why I do that is just so that when you actually have your shaker card finished, it's actually nice to have, oh, I just bumped that one. It's nice to have some that just stay up and around. I just find it just adds a little bit more interest. All right, so while that's drying, I'm now going to peel off all of these edge pieces off my foam strips. Who hasn't ever tried shaker cards? If there's anyone there that is on watching, is there anyone that hasn't made a shaker card before? Always wondered how to make shaker cards and how, always thought that it was too hard. A lot of people think that shaker cards are too hard, but they're so easy to make when you have the right gear. Okay, so I've got all of those off there. Okay, so now what I'm actually going to do is, now that I have all of the backings off that, I'm going to bring this down here and I'm going to line this up. Now, I'm not even going to look in here. I'm looking at all of my edges to make sure, and hopefully my hair won't get in the way, to make sure that I've got it lined up on that layer where I want it to be. And I've done well. Okay, and then press it down firmly. Okay, and then there is your gorgeous shaker card. And you'll find that the ones that I've glued, you'll see stay up, and sometimes some other little pieces stay up there. But I think it's, you have tried, Merlene, and failed. And Debbie, you haven't made one. I'm telling you, it is super, super easy. The foam strips make it really, really easy. So you definitely need to get some foam strips. So that might be the next thing on your wish list, is to make sure you've got our adhesive foam strips. But it makes it so much easier. All right. So now with this piece here, I thought it was a little bit too plain to just pop this onto here. So I decided what I actually was going to do is I'm going to stamp this with some of the foliage. And I decided to use Pretty Peacock. And there is this stamp here in the set that is the foliage, and I'm just going to ink up with Pretty Peacock, and I'm going to stamp and use different stages of the stamp. So don't be scared to stamp a couple of times to get a really nice look. The other thing that I thought would be really, really good with this as well is in our Sailing Home, Come Sail Away, in that set, it would be really, really nice. But see, you can see there, it's just created a little bit of interest in behind that layer. Now, I have mucked up on this one because with my other one, I used the gorgeous ribbon and I put it in before I added my shaker bit. I actually wrapped the ribbon around. Now this is our gorgeous Pool Party sheer ribbon, and it's absolutely gorgeous. It's so fine and glittery and yummy. It is absolutely wonderful. So I'm actually going to cheat, and I'm going to pop some double-sided tape on the back here, and I'm going to pop my ribbon. My ribbon on my first one was in between my shaded spruce layer and my Pool Party layer. So this one, we're just going to, it's okay, we're just going to wrap it around both layers. And it's okay because it's still going to hide in behind that layer when we pop it onto our card base. So I'm just going to wrap that around like that. Oh, you've put your foam strips on your list, Merlene. Okay, and that. So once again, as I said, for anyone that purchases today, which is June 28th, for anyone that purchases today, I'm going to refund your postage on your order today. So if you've got some things to order, then today's the day to order. And you also need to use my host code, which is out of the screen. Hang on, I'll bring the screen down a little bit further. Let me see if I can do that. There we go. Okay, so the June host code is UHTXSTCN. So if you're popping an order in today, please use that host code. And as I said, if you order online with me, I will check out your postage and I will do a refund into your account for you. Okay, so we're just going to glue that on, and I'm actually going to glue it up towards the top of the card to leave a little bit of that showing down on the bottom. All right. Now, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to stamp our whale. So I've got my whale here, and I'm going to stamp my whale in Bermuda Bay, but I'm also going to add a little bit of color on my whale using my, there's a piece of white cardstock to do my whale. So I'm going to ink it up with Bermuda Bay, and I'm also going to use some of my Pretty Peacock around the edge. So I'm going to ink it up in my Bermuda Bay, so just like that. And then I want some Pretty Peacock. So I'm going to grab my sponge dauber again, and I'm going to make the little fin Pretty Peacock, and I'm also going to go along that top edge with my peacock and make his tail a bit more in the Pretty Peacock. And then we're going to stamp him down just like that. And there we have our gorgeous little whale. So a Bermuda Bay and Pretty Peacock whale. All right, so then we're going to use our punch. Now, our punch has several pieces in the punch. So it has like a little water spurt that you can use and a water drop here. And it also has a fin and part of the body that you can use. I'm actually just using the whale section at the moment. You can actually punch out some different colors and add those pieces on to get more of a 3D look whale, but I'm actually just going to do that. Okay, so then I'm also going to grab my Pretty Peacock ink again, And I want to ink up the outside edges of my whale. So I'm going to go round the outside edges with my pretty peacock. And the reason why I wanted to do this was it looked a little bit too stark white, that edge that it leaves. And I was like, I want it to look a little bit more marine-like. I didn't want that white coming out. So I decided that I would do some sponging just around the edge. And you can see it just makes that whale look a lot nicer with that sponged edge. Okay, so you can see it looks a lot better with that sponged, ready to go. All right, so then I had a strip of our pool party, which I did have a strip of the pool party. Where did I put it? That's okay. We're going to use this strip of designer series paper because we can do that as well. I did have a strip of pool party here somewhere in amongst my mess, and I can't find it, but that's okay. It's all good. We will use this strip anyway. All right, and I'm going to use my pretty peacock ink, and I'm going to stamp My Love Is Bigger Than, For You Is Bigger Than the Ocean, which is super, super cute. Okay. So I'm going to line that up on that strip like that. And then we have some cute little fish in here as well. And I'm going to bring in my scrap piece of paper because I don't want to get this on my desk. And we're going to stamp some of these tiny little fish on here as well. So we've got fish swimming around on our sentiment. All right. You love it, Kathy? Anne Marie saying it's gorgeous. Thank you. Okay, so then I'm going to bring in my triple banner punch again, and I'm going to grab my strip with my sentiment on it, and I'm going to pop it in here and pull it through. And we're going to trim that off. And then that's going to sit in here like this, and our whale. And of course, we have to do a gorgeous bow here for over this side here. So now, if you are having a hard time tying bows, this ribbon is gorgeous, I'm telling you. It is the Pool Party sheer ribbon, and it goes with this suite, but it ties bows beautifully. So a lot of people ask me, how do I tie my bows? I make a loop, but I make it more like the breast cancer sign, the emblem. Wrap it around without twisting your ribbon, so making sure that your ribbon is all going the same way. Then you make a little loop like that and push it through. And then when you pull, you make sure that you keep your ribbon all going the right way. And then with your finger on the knot in the middle, you just keep pulling until you get your ribbon to, like, your loops to the size that you want. Now, when you pull this ribbon, it still goes out to a fairly big bow, and I didn't want a really big bow, so I wanted like quite a smaller bow on here. So just keep playing with it until you get it to the size that you want it. So you can see there, I wanted a little tiny, cute little bow. So I'm then going to cut that off like so. And then with this one, because it is so sheer, I am going to use a glue dot. You know, I don't normally use glue dots. You know, I normally use my double-sided tape, but because it's such a small little bow, I'm going to use a glue dot, and I'm going to make sure that I squish that glue dot into that knot. And then we're going to pop that onto our card. But can you see how gorgeous that bow is? Isn't that just beautiful, that bow? I love, love, love this ribbon. I'm telling you, it is absolutely stunning. All right, so I'm going to glue, and I'm just going to use my seal on my whale, and I'm going to glue that onto the front of the card just here. So he's having a whale of a time, and I'm also going to use my seal on this one, and I'm just going to pop that along. And it doesn't matter that you're using your seal onto that window sheet. That's totally okay. We're going to line that up with our edge there and pop it along here. Thank you for the hearts. Okay, now out of our little whale of a time sequence, we're going to pop a little drop of glue where his eye is here. So remember, with the whale, the eye is way back there. A lot of people want to put an eye up here, but that would be in its snout. And we don't want to do that. Okay, so I'm going to use this greenish sequin for his eye. So just like that. So he looks super cute with that glittery eye there. And I think it calls for a bit of Wink of Stella. I think our whale needs some Wink of Stella on him because he's gorgeous. So I'm going to do his tail. And I'm just going to do those shaded bits. And we'll pop a little bit of Wink through there. So super, super gorgeous and glittery. Now for the insert, I'm just going to grab a piece of Whisper White, and I'm going to bring in that pretty peacock and the gorgeous greenery again. And we're going to do some of those there like that, and some more pieces down here. Okay, now there is a coral in here, so I think we might put some really nice bright coloured coral in amongst this. So of course, seeing it's coral, I suppose we need to use the Calypso coral for the coral. What do you think? Coral, Calypso coral. Okay, so that, and where did I, there it is. Thank you, Winan. Hey, Margaret, how are you? Okay, so we're going to add some nice little bits of coral in here as well. Okay. And we will pop that into the insert. I feel like we might need a little bit of a seahorse in there as well, because a seahorse is pretty cute. We might do that. A Blackberry Bliss seahorse. But you can see this is like simply a gorgeous, stunning suite. I might pop another little one down in here. All right. So there you have a gorgeous, beautiful shaker card using the Whale of the Time bundle. So now this could be a free bundle that you may like to get if you decided to join my team, because you can get a bundle for free. Now, I'm just going to find where all the bundles are. So during the month of June, so we've got 2 more days, you're able to get a free bundle on top of anything that you choose in your $235 worth of product. You can actually get a free bundle for free on top of that $235 worth of product, and you only pay $169. So we've got the jar of flowers, we've got the posted for you. So you can see here, $63, $54, $63, $80 for the heartfelt one. The whale done bundle is $54.95. You can get that bundle, the punch and the stamp set, for free for $54.95. You get it for free. And then there's also our die bundles here. So we've got way, way more die bundles. And I was just thinking, there's another one that's dearer than that one. So the best year is $100.75. There was another one that was about 105. Need to find which one it was. The gorgeous alphabets, which is fantastic, $100.75. I'm sure there was a $105 one. Maybe I was wrong. But that's an extra $100 savings if you pick a stamp set and a die bundle. So it's pretty awesome what you can get for free on top of the starter kit. So if you love, love, love the Whale of a Time bundle, I'm telling you, join my team and you will really, really enjoy having a discount. So thank you once again for joining me, and I will be popping on again a little while later. Probably I'll have to have some lunch and get a little bit organized, but maybe in, what have we got now? So maybe at about 1:30 or so, which is about an hour, a little bit over an hour and a half away. So give me an hour and a half and I will be back on again. So thank you everyone, and until next time, have a wonderful day. Bye for now.